What's up, everybody? Welcome to another band discography ranking where I rank every album from a certain band or artist. I have done other band discography rankings in the past, such as Talking Heads, the Ramones, and Nirvana, and a bunch of others as well. Go check those out if you haven't already. But today I will be ranking, as you can tell by my shirt, well, and of course, the title of the video, I will be ranking every album by the band Sublime. Yes. And as you might know, Sublime only has 3 albums, so this will probably be a shorter ranking video. So yeah, I know I could include the Sublime with Rome albums too, but I didn't really want to. So I didn't really want to listen to those. So I just added the 3 Sublime albums. So yeah, I'll be ranking them from my least favorite to favorite. Keep in mind, of course, personal opinions. Now, I will say though, I still like my least favorite Sublime album. I, all 3 of these albums are like 9 out of 10 albums for me. So like all 3 of their albums are great. So even my least favorite, I still really like. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Anyways, all right, so let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So coming in at number 3, we have my least favorite Sublime album, but again, I still really like this one. In fact, I almost wanted this to be my number 1. Um, but unfortunately, it's not the best Sublime album, and it's not quite my favorite because there are some duds on it. But my number 3 is their second album, Robin the Hood, released in 1994. Now, I still really love this album, despite it being my least favorite. No, I think this album's really cool. There's I think the track list is very interesting. There's a lot of weird and different stuff on this one, and there's even some home recordings as well. A lot of acoustic stuff, some really cool there's like the genre's kind of all over the place too. You got like, of course, your typical reggae and whatnot that Sublime usually does, reggae, ska punk kind of stuff. But they have like some acoustic folk-ish songs and like some rap even, and just like some cool like instrumental dub stuff too. It's a really cool album. Now I don't like every single track on this album, but like there's some duds on here. I do like the spoken word tracks actually by that Raleigh guy or whatever his name was. Like those are pretty funny, especially part two. Um, but um, but no, I almost wanted this to be at number 1 just because I just think this is a really interesting album and I like just the whole flow of it. But there are some duds, and even like the last few tracks aren't really great in my opinion. Like even the last track isn't all that great, and I don't know. It just I don't know. It's not a great album, but it is a really cool album. So yeah. My personal favorites from this album are from Robin Hood are Steppin' Razor, Greatest Hits, Pull Shark, the acoustic version. I do like the punk version too, but the acoustic version I like even better. Cisco Kid, which is probably Sublime's most badass song, and my personal favorite Sublime song, which is Boss DJ, a really awesome acoustic song. Yeah, Robin the Hood, that is my number 3. Yeah. All right, so coming in at number 2 is the only Sublime album I actually own. Unfortunately, I need to get Robin Hood and my number 1, and I also want to get the compilation album Secondhand Smoke. I didn't include that one on here because, well, for one thing, it's a compilation. Even though I did add Incesticide to my Nirvana ranking, I did do that. Um, but I remember, I think it was Bad Fish and Saw Red were both on that album, and it was the exact same recordings as the other from the other albums. So that just didn't really seem fair to include it on here. But I like that compilation too. Anyways, My number three is their third and final album. That is self-titled. Now this was really close to being number one, as well. Like honestly, either any one of these could have been my number one. I'm actually surprised that my number one is my number one because I think in the past, which I'll reveal it later, which you probably already know what it is if you're a Sublime fan, but that used to be my least favorite Sublime album. Now it's my favorite. But we'll get to that. No, this album is almost perfect if it wasn't for the song Under My Voodoo, which isn't a bad song, but it's kind of eh, I don't know. I don't love it. It's kind of boring to me, unfortunately. If if that song wasn't on the album or if I did like the song, then this would be my number one because every other song on here is great. Like if there's an album where I think every single song is great, if it's that means it's a perfect album and it should be number one, you know. So yeah, but unfortunately, because I didn't like Under My Voodoo that much, it's my number two. Um, and I happen to like a little bit more songs from the first album. I mean, well, my number one we'll get to in a minute, but no, self-titled is really good. This was actually co-produced by Paul Leary from the Butthole Surfers, and like he produced some of the tracks, and then this other guy produced the others. But and this one is definitely the best sounding album. Like it's very well produced. It's just it sounds so good, and yeah, this is the one I've spent the most time with, but again, not quite my favorite. But still an amazing album. And this actually even came out a little after the lead singer slash guitar player Brad Knoll after he died. This actually came out somewhere after he died. So yeah. But great album. Rest in peace to Brad Knoll, of course. But yeah, great album. My personal favorites on here are Garden Grove, Same in the End, and April 26, 1992, Miami. Which on the back, it's actually printed as April 29th for some reason, but it should be called April 26th because that's what they say in the song. But um, but yeah, great album nonetheless. Awesome album. Uh, yeah, I like if you want to get into Sublime, I recommend either this one or my number one. But yeah, this one's great. That is my number two, the self-titled album. Would be my favorite if it wasn't for number one. And my number one favorite Sublime album is, and you've probably already guessed it already, that is the debut album 40 Ounces of Freedom, released in 1992. I forgot to mention the self-titled was released in 96, but yeah, 40 Ounces of Freedom. Now, okay, so this one, like I said, this used to be my least favorite out of the three. I always liked it. I always did. As you could tell, yeah, this is the album cover of that album. Yeah, but and I'm wearing the shirt, but I don't know. I never loved this album. I always liked it a lot because there were some really good songs on it, but I always liked the other two better. But this time it finally hit me. I was like, yeah, this is definitely their best album, and um there are some duds on here. Like I don't like New Song or New Thrash or um Eben. Do I like Eben? I can't remember. um there are some forgettable songs. Like I already forgot how Eben sounds, but but no, it's still a great album. It's a great debut album. It's really cool. I actually listened to the original version of this album that is hard to find now. You can find it on YouTube, but the original version of this album originally had a little bit of extra tracks. Like they had the song Get Out on there. Like that was the second track in between Waiting for My Ruka and the self-titled song. There was Get Out, and also there was like a maybe like a hidden track or something like after Date Rape. There was a song. There was actually a cover of the Rawhide theme song. That was really cool. But they cut those out on the reissue, and also a few of the songs they actually like I think cut out some samples because originally some of these songs had some samples I think from like movies or something, and they had to cut those out I guess for copyright reasons or something. Um, but I heard the original version. It's really cool. I kind of like it better honestly. Um, but yeah, 40 Ounces of Freedom was a great album. It's a great debut album, and I honestly do think it's their best. And it just barely my favorite. But honestly, I don't know. Maybe one of these days it could change. Maybe 40 ounce, or maybe Robin the Hood might be my favorite one day, or maybe the self-titled might be my favorite one day. Like self-titled used to be my favorite. Then it was Robin the Hood, then 40 Ounces of Freedom, but now it's different. So yeah, but yeah, 40 Ounces of Freedom is a great album. My personal favorites on 40 Ounces of Freedom are Waiting for My Ruka, 40 Ounces of Freedom, Scarlet Begonas, which is a great Grateful Dead cover. I don't even like Grateful Dead, but their cover of Scarlet Begonas is awesome. And also KRS-One, really cool acoustic song. Um, yeah, this is a this is a great album. Again, I recommend this one or the self-titled if you want to get into Sublime. I don't recommend Robin the Hood at first. Just listen to those two first, and if you like those two, listen to Robin the Hood. But yeah, like I said, any one of these could be number one because I think all these albums are great. Like all 9 out of 10 albums. Not quite 10 out of 10 albums because all three of them do have duds on them, but although this one's almost, like I said, almost a perfect album if it wasn't for Under My Voodoo. But yeah, but at the end of the day, I chose 40 Ounces of Freedom. So 40 Ounces of Freedom is my number one favorite Sublime song. Yeah. All right, there we go. There is my ranking for all of Sublime's albums. So in the comments, let me know your ranking for the Sublime albums. If you want to include the Sublime with Rome albums, go ahead. Um, I don't know. I just didn't really want to. I don't really have any interest in Sublime and Rome for some reason. I don't know. But yeah. So all right. So also I want to mention pretty soon there will be um, another discography ranking coming very soon because I'm almost done with it. That will be the Stooges. So that will be the next band discography ranking. Will be the Stooges. So look out for that. Probably sometime next month. But yeah, like not my next music related video that will be an album review, but after that should be the Stooges ranking, so check that out. So all right, so please like, subscribe, comment, and hit the bell, and I'll see you later. All right, peace.